Welcome to the Journey Continues Podcast. Real voices, real recovery. Today, we have Joel Haashiim here today with us. The reason why I pause like that, everyone, I have to say this because I've been saying Haashiim. So please forgive me because I did a pause and look like, did I say it right? So, Haashiim. Mr. Haashiim, thank you for being with us today, being a guest, and thank you for coming back because I know that we had lost your footage. So again, thank you so much for coming back.
Well, thank you for the invite.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So today, Mr. Haashiim is here to answer some questions that was created with the several treatment facilities, including myself, and we just want to get an idea of who he is. What will his leadership role be like? What should we expect from him during his administration if he is elected? So with that being said, we're going to move into our first question. What inspired you to run for mayor of Detroit? And how do your personal experiences and your leadership style
come into play?
Come into play.
Well, first of all, watching the imbalance based from the corporate priorities and the community's priorities, it was out of balance. And it appears as though our leaders lean more toward the corporate and not focus on the community. And so the community is beat down. A lot of our Detroit residents, legacy residents as well, have lost hope. They think that there's nothing that can be done to change the circumstance or the dynamic of our community. So our community's majority look like hell, and we watch Detroit's downtown and it's heaven. So someone has to stand up and fight for the people. The skills that I have that are very important for Detroit right now is, number one, we need housing. I've had 23 years experience in building concepts, building, housing, etc., where we learn how to mass produce housing. We learn how to reduce the cost of housing. And Detroit needs approximately 400,000 residents to come back to the city. And then, of course, our Detroit residents need housing as well, especially our young people. So housing is big. Also, I've done 15 business delegations / trade delegations. And what that pretty much means is I have a lot of experience in bringing business opportunities to the city of Detroit. We took the largest trade delegation out of Detroit, which was 34 large corporations, GM, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Comerica Bank, etc. And they're making billions of dollars today because of what we facilitated. So we can do that for Detroit. Also, I have 54 years of domestic and international business, and Detroit is a corporation, which is a business.
Mm-hmm. It is. What is your long-term goal and vision for Detroit? And how do you plan to balance with equity and community empowerment?
Our platform is an empowerment platform. So if they go to JOELH4mayor.com, they can read the empowerment platform. There have been a lot of people that may have taken from that platform, so they may sound like me, but they're not me. Basically, our platform is going to focus on making the Detroit City retirees whole, making sure that we have housing for the homeless, making sure that we bring in or partner with a bank until we can get our own municipal or public bank, making sure that we set up programs for our young people so they can integrate into city jobs, as well as making sure that those that have certain needs, handicap, people, mental health, that we actually set up something to address all of those issues and making sure that those that were incarcerated, that we have a program that sets up for them that works, that takes them into a career, into an occupational wage paying job so that, they can make a clear choice in their life and make a decision to stay away from the crime because they have the opportunity. That's what we will provide for the city of Detroit, as well as making sure that we have affordable rents, homes, and we want to set up a Detroit City Municipal so that we can reduce our energy costs. Those are just some of the things. Last but not least, reduce the taxes on our homes. I want to dismantle gentrification, dismantle our land bank, and make sure that we have no more predatory government, state, county, or city working against the people.
Thank you. How will you remain accountable to the communities if elected?
As a servant of the people, I'll always remember that I am a servant. And we will definitely meet with the people on a regular basis, at least 4 times a year, making sure that they will be in touch with me and I with them. Through our precinct delegates, I will also have meetings monthly so that they can share with me what's taking place in the different communities across the city of Detroit. To keep in contact with our youth, we want to set up 12 youth mayors, well, 6 females, 6 male, as liaisons going into the community to keep in touch with what is concerning to our young people and to make sure that we can improve the quality of life for our seniors and residents here in the city of Detroit as well.
Thank you. What is your plan to support individuals in recovery from substance use disorder, particularly those re-entering society after incarceration?
I think we need a special city contract because we are all struggling with something, whether it's mental health, it could be small or large issues. We may be challenged, and that causes us to continue to utilize drugs or alcohol, etc. And so, what we need is to make sure that our treatment center is the top of the line. So, we would look at the experts, people who have been through these journeys, and ask them what's the best way we can help people that have these habits that want to actually change their life. So we would set up the system. We would take out of that $3 billion budget, we're going to find money. And that's another reason why my platform deals with bringing in money into our city treasury. I'm probably the only candidate that have the experience and skill set to focus on how to bring in additional money. So we want to set up those programs to make sure that whatever the city supports, that they have housing, jobs, and make sure that experts, the people who have actually been through it, recovery, can their best to deal with that situation and make the best recommendations.
How will you work with nonprofits, recovery homes, peer support programs to expand access to transitional housing and recovery services?
This goes back to making sure that no one is homeless or in financial crisis where they can't have a place to sleep, to take care of their families. So what we would do is set up a system, first of all, financial literacy, to make sure that we can uh, share with our people how to qualify for a home. Secondly, making sure that we actually have renters programs that work, that won't expire. Those subsidies, those Section 8s, etc. The city needs its own program because they're trying to cut Section 8. So basically, we want to make sure that we take all the buildings throughout the city that can be transformed into housing for families, for single people, for vets, for people with disabilities, and for people that are trying to reform their lives. So, that's a big thing, and we need to do it.
Do you support integrating harm reduction strategies into public health policies? Why or why not?
Absolutely. Policy is very important. Government policy does affect your life, whether you like it or not, whether we agree or not. We're all victims of negative policies here in Detroit. So I will certainly bring together all the community groups, faith-based groups, nonprofits. We need to have a holistic program where we actually take our arms and bring everything together so that we can correct the problems here in the city of Detroit. Make sure all of us have an opportunity to sit at the table of prosperity.
Okay. What are your plans to address the affordable housing crisis, especially your vulnerable populations, such as single mothers, seniors, and people in recovery? And I know you did touch briefly on that.
On that, yes. This is why this next election is going to be so very important. I'm the only candidate that's speaking about bringing in manufacturing into Detroit as another stream of revenue for our city, for our job market, for our city treasury. And that manufacturing or industry is housing. We need a lot of housing here in the city of Detroit. So what we want to do is set up that manufacturing facility. We have so many vacant factories here in Detroit that are not being utilized. So we can convert that into housing manufacturing. We can create those 10,000 jobs. We can also put money, into our city treasury. And so what we would do to make sure people qualify, understanding that we would also utilize the financial literacy program, but we also want to extend the time on your mortgage. So based on age, we may be able to extend that mortgage 35, 40 years, even as high as 50-year mortgage, so that people can actually afford a home. Right now, building materials are very expensive due to inflation. And so by us having our own factory here in Detroit, we will have enough work for 100 years. I just want to make it clear why this election is so important, because Detroit City Treasury needs money. And you hear a lot of candidates talk about building 1,000 homes, 10,000 homes. We need to understand, to build 10,000 homes, you're talking about $1.5 to $2 billion. So by Detroit having their own manufacturing facility, we can reduce the cost, put our people to work, put residents who are in real estate sales, contractors, builders, skilled trades, handyman. That will seed our economy right here in Detroit. And that's why it's important to make sure that we don't let this opportunity pass. If we allow this opportunity to pass, it's said that God helps those that helps themselves. But if we don't put billions of dollars in our community from this housing and real estate development, we're in trouble. Last but not least, Detroit, 1/3 of Detroit is approximately 140 miles. The city of Boston is approximately 48 miles. The city of Boston has real estate development assessed at 278 billion. We're talking about billions of dollars here. This is not a fallacy. Somebody's going to make that money in Detroit. Why not you, Detroit? Why not the people? You want money in your pocket? Vote for Joel Haashiim.
How will your administration ensure equitable economic development that benefits long-time residents, not just large developers? And you touched on that again a little bit.
Yes, we want to set up safe zones. We want to make sure that people will be able to go to a city hall near them, whether they take a short drive or want to walk. We want to make sure that we have a mini city hall, mini police station, 24 hours, many first responders, fire, uh, mental health, all that in a safe center. So if we have one in each area in the city of Detroit, maybe up to 7 or 8 of them, this will allow us to also put shopping centers. One of the biggest issues that we have is not having ample shopping. So we have to go to the suburbs, etc. So what we want to do is build this so that we bring all the finance or commerce into these safe centers. People who are interested in setting up a business, they will have an opportunity to rent a facility to run their business. We know that the rents are very expensive now. So by the city building these safe centers, now we can rent reasonable rents to entrepreneurs and small businesses. So that will help to uplift the community. And one other thing, what did Black Wall Street have in common? Paradise Valley, Black Bottom, was that had all of these businesses grouped together. So you could walk within 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks and you could find whatever you needed in that community. And that's what we need to produce here in the city of Detroit. That's called economic empowerment. That's called letting money circulate into our community.
Okay. Would you support partnerships that allow city-owned or donated properties to be used by nonprofits? If so, how?
Absolutely. I think all the nonprofits that are improving the quality of life for our community, we need to take whatever is available, not being utilized, and we need to work something out with all of our groups to make sure that they can get what they need, partner with the city, making sure we have our own finance so that we can fix those properties up. Also, here again, the housing or building manufacturing facility, it allows us to rehab homes, do infill development, making sure that we protect the community from gentrification. If you got several lots or homes that are vacant, we can actually manufacture what's needed, the materials for those homes. And so what we want to do is make sure that everyone who wants to partner with the city has the opportunity. And I'm going to go one more step. We also have, if for people who own lots in the city, having an opportunity to put a home on that lot so that we can put money in your pocket as well as put money with the city. So you can partner with the city to build a home on that lot or to rehab that home. There are so many things we can do when we start to combine our efforts with the community, with all of the needs and concerns of our community. The city can do a much better job bringing us to prosperity.
Okay. What mental health initiatives would you prioritize to reduce violence and substance abuse in high-risk neighborhoods?
I think the most important thing here again is going back to the experts. I'm not a mental health expert. I'm not a substance abuse expert. I'm not one who can make those judgment calls. But as mayor, as a CEO, I will bring all of those experts together so that we can approach it holistically to solve the problem. We're not going to be successful in everything we do, but one thing we want to make sure, we don't want anyone to say, oh, there was nothing in place for me to change my life. So if we want to change our lives, the city's going to make sure we have all of the assets, all of the resources there to make the change for that individual.
How will you ensure that people impacted by trauma and addiction are treated with dignity and compassion by city institutions?
You know, as mayor, I'm not better than anybody else. Police officers, first responders, someone sleeping on the corner. Nobody's better than nobody else. So I want to make sure that our children, bullying, we've got to address all of these issues. We have to know that we're all people. And nobody's better than nobody because they have money or they have a position of power or they're in authority. So I would definitely stress that continually. I'll go to our school systems, public, private, and charter. I want our young people to understand that respect is very, very important. Mm-hmm. You look at countries like China and Japan, that's what they learn in the kindergarten. Mm-hmm. They bring them up that way. We've got to change this dynamic where people think that they're better than someone else. We have a group of bourgeois here in Detroit. They think they're better. They have no empathy for the poor. They're living in a better class neighborhood and they think, oh, it's not them. They're better. No, we've got to get away from that foolish thinking. That foolish thinking making us think we're better than somebody because we got a Rolex or some expensive gym shoes or expensive car. This type of thinking has destroyed our community. And I'll definitely speak up about it continually, starting with our youth and any opportunity I have to share it. We're not better than nobody. You think you're a better religion? You think God favors you and don't favor someone else? This is foolish thinking, and it needs to stop, people.
What is your strategy for engaging and supporting Detroit's youth, especially those at risk of substance use or justice involved?
That's one reason why we want to set up the youth our 12, 6 male, 6 female deputy youth to be the liaison into the community. We definitely have to focus more on the programs for our young people. They're faced with a lot. They're faced with more than I ever was when I was growing up. We have social media. We have so much crime. We have so much drugs in our community. We have so many weapons in our community. And so the only way we're going to change this here again is looking at it in a holistic way and setting up the program so that it can reach all of our young people. And also looking also at the idea of our Detroit City Academy or program set up so that when they come out of high school, they already have a skill, be able to get a job with the city of Detroit, as well as us focusing on bringing those other corporations, domestic and international, into our community so that we can provide those good jobs. Our children need to be able to compete in the 21st century. We've got to make sure they can read, write, and do math. And so the city will take money out of their budget and partner with Detroit Public Schools as well as charter schools, private schools. We need to win this war. This war is economic, it's political, it's educational. We've got to win this war, people. We're going up against mighty powers in secret.
All right. Will your administration support prevention-based education and job training for youth? What would that look like?
As I shared, our public schools, we don't run the public school system, but we're going to reach out to them to see what the city of Detroit can do to set up that program. But also we know child care is a big issue. We have to set up child care so that parents can go get the training they need. can work the jobs. And so we have to make childcare affordable. So we're looking at the Head Start programs and other programs, how we can facilitate putting more money available to pay for childcare so that we can take the next step up, as well as making sure that we don't want to have so many programs that people get lost as to what program really works. We have to produce programs that work, that take people out of poverty and put them into the middle class. And that's also another reason why I want to bring in universal basic income. Because children that are in poverty, we need to make sure that enough finance is going into that home. With the federal government and state government cutting, talking about cutting even bridge cards, etc., the city needs to make sure that we can take care of our people, our children, and that no one is suffering in our city. That's the idea. Serving the people, making sure that no one is suffering in our city. That's something that no other candidate is speaking about, putting those resources into our city treasury so that we can address all of these issues that take money.
That concludes our questions. But I have a question. Um, I want you to tell the audience why it's important to vote.
It's so important to vote because we think that it doesn't affect our lives. Our young people, they come out of high school, they have no idea of how local politics operates. We're not poor. Detroit has assets. Those assets are working for the corporations and the rich. We can utilize those assets to work for the people, to put money in your pocket. If all of these companies are coming in downtown Detroit and other places, they're making billions of dollars here in the city of Detroit. They're not paying any taxes. If you understand policy is what this is about. You have to take time to focus on your candidates, make sure that they will work for the people, understand their record. Don't vote for someone to make history. Don't vote for someone because their billboards are all over the city, because all that glitters is not gold. Get involved. If you want change, you're going to have to get up, educate ourselves on the candidates, look at the platform of the candidate, look at the history, the skill set. You must vote. Get involved. If you want change, you're going to have to vote for someone who's going to bring that change. Someone who uniquely understands the problems of our community and willing to sacrifice and lay the foundation for prosperity in our future. Young people, 17, 18 and up, 50 up to 50 years old. We have over 100,000 people that are not voting in Detroit. You have the power to change. Don't make them think that you don't care. Don't let the corporations and the rich and the political apparatus take you for granted and take you for being foolish. Make sure you educate yourself, that you get involved, take control of your community, and you can take these assets in the city of Detroit that everybody else is getting rich off of, and you can make those assets work for the community, for the people, for the children.
Well said. Thank you so much for coming back on. Family, you heard it. August 5th is the time to make your decision. And your information, you want to give it to them. And we also going to put it in the comment section.
JOELH for mayor.com. And, you can call us, you can email us, and we do get back with you. And you can also donate. If the corporations and the rich are supporting all of your candidates and someone else is refusing to take money from the corporations, you have to support that candidate because that's the candidate that's going to work for you.
All right. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.